You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh my goodness. Parker Meadows. I can't wait to dive into it. Catch of the year. Tigers win their second consecutive game over the Mariners. We're going to break it all down. And oh, by the way, Tarik Skubal was dominant once again. 6-2 the final. Let's get into it. As always, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers Postcast your first listen following the final out. If you don't know by now, my name is Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. As always, fired up to be with you. It doesn't get any better than hopping on late night after a Tigers win on the West Coast, and an exciting one at that. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers Postcast your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, Locked On Sports Detroit. Make sure you subscribe. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And hey, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right. Make everything more exciting with the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And these are the types of shows you live for, because everything was fun tonight. Baseball was exciting again. This is a fun Tigers team when they're playing up to their caliber. And tonight was an example. And I feel like, and I'm probably getting way ahead of myself, but a look into the future of the type of baseball club this team can be. Parker Meadows, I want to start right there because it truly was a catch of the year in my mind that saved the game. And obviously, if you're catching us live on YouTube on Locked On Sports Detroit, you are up late, you watch the game. If you're catching us on the audio only version afterwards, thanks for listening. But you got to, if you haven't seen the catch by now, it's insane. Parker Meadows times it up, 8th inning, in a big spot, Tigers up, clinging to a 3-2 lead, 1-run game, a man on Cal Raleigh, who we all know what Cal Raleigh can do, one of the best hitters for the Mariners, just laces a high fly ball to deep center field, and Meadows lined it up, timed his jump, and it was like he was going up above the rim to grab an alley-oop pass and just snagged that baseball in center field, brought it back, prevented the home run, robbed the home run, however you want to phrase it, and saved the game for this Tigers team, keeping it a 3-2 game. And what did the Tigers do? Well, it provided some momentum because the offense then goes and puts 3 runs up in the 9th inning to add some insurance and some cushion, taking it from a 3-2 game into a 6-2 game. So those are the types of plays. And I'm not going to sit here and say that's what we got to have every night, but that's the type of game that over the course of 162 games, you look back at that one after the season and say that could have been the type of game that makes Parker Meadows more confident, obviously, and provides a spark for this team. Whether it, obviously, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves and say, hey, maybe they start to get hot and sniff a wild card, but it starts to be the foundation being laid for the culture. And that's one of the most overused words in sports. But if you want to use a different term, the foundation might be a better way to put it, of guys making plays, your ace on the mound, on the road against what was a first place ball club, but with the loss. And again, not to do the AL West postcast recap like we did yesterday, but the Astros beat the Rangers today. So now the Astros passed the Mariners in the AL West for the division lead. And so that's obviously no slouch of a ball club over there in Seattle. And this Tigers team on back-to-back nights has looked like the better team. And so I'm excited. I think it's the type of brand of baseball that this young core can start playing. Texting with a buddy during that game who was up late watching. And, we're both just talking how the pieces are there. We're starting to see it. And if Parker Meadows can continue to be what he's been offensively, we know what he can do defensively. We know he has the type of game-changing abilities defensively. It was a couple of nights ago where he laid out in center field. He covers so much ground. And, growing up with the Tigers, we were accustomed to defensive center fielders that just made every play. Curtis Granderson, Austin Jackson. Those are the type of players that Parker Meadows is reminding you of, and maybe even a little bit better with the physical tools that he has as well. So such an exciting game tonight. So much fun to watch. Tigers get the win 6-2 over the Mariners. Now 54-60 on the season. And I tell you what, when you think about what this game could mean, you got a chance to go for a sweep tomorrow. What a way to start a West Coast road trip. And let's get into Tarik Skubal, because he was, I don't want to say overshadowed by Parker Meadows, but obviously that's the exclamation point on the game. But Tarik Skubal gets his 13th win of the season, 7 innings strong, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, struck out 9. He was phenomenal. Walked 2, and you knew he was going to show out being the Seattle U product. And with so many people at the game tonight, love the Johnny Kane story about his roots at Seattle, the only Division I offer he had coming out of high school. And it just a typical Tarik Skubal performance is what we were expecting, and it's exactly what we got. He just made the one mistake, giving up the home run there in the bottom of the 4th inning. But other than that, once again, we in Cal Raleigh, who's a power hitter, his 24th home run of the season was the 2-run shot for the Mariners. But what we are witnessing with Tarik Skubal, it honestly just reminds me of those days with must-see JV, where every 5th day you can count on it like clockwork. You can count on him, your ace, going out there and just mowing down the opposition. And he does it in a variety of ways, and with velocity, with obviously command, in the way he can keep pitchers off balance is just exciting. It's like poetry in motion. 102 pitches tonight, which I was glad AJ Hinch kind of let him stretch out a little bit there to get the 7 innings in the book. 70 pitches for strikes, which you love to see. And for the way he was able to just attack the zone and attack Seattle Mariners hitters. First pitch strikes in 20 of 26 at bats tonight. Just all around. Again, this is going to sound like I'm just oohing and eyeing over this team tonight, but I think their performance on the field merits that. I really do. And again, with a lot on the line for the Mariners battling for the division there in the AL West. But as always, thanks for making Locked On Tigers Postcast your destination post-game. Appreciate all of the comments. We'll get to those in just a moment, because this is an interactive platform. We've got your voice being heard on Locked On Sports Detroit, and it's an exciting time of year, because you know what we got tomorrow? We've got a double header on the Locked On Sports Detroit, first ever postcast double header, because we've got a Locked On Lions postcast preseason game against the Giants, and then late night, which I don't know why it's not a day game tomorrow for the Tigers. It should be on getaway day. I know they don't have to go too far to San Francisco, but what the heck? But anyways, that's all right. We'll have another Locked On Tigers postcast after dark, and depending, it's sports, you can't always plan exactly how it should play out, but Lions kick off at 7. In theory, should be able to do both. We'll have the double monitors going and discuss it all on Locked On Sports Detroit. So make sure you subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to also tell a friend. We want to get those that community to continue to grow. All right, the comments. Dennis, love that catch. Absolutely. All right, we've got Gareth Ridings. Parker Meadows made a spectacular catch to keep the lead, no doubt about it. And good point here from Dennis, starting to like Vierling a little bit more. Yeah, and I haven't even said it yet, but what a way to start the game as well with Wenceel Perez with the leadoff home run. That's always a good shot of momentum early on. But Vierling, another good night tonight. 3 hits for him, 2 runs scored. And I mentioned that conversation I was having with a buddy. We both said, why not Vierling, your everyday third baseman? All right, YouTube user, love it when our beloved Tigers score early runs. What exactly? The Wenceel Perez walk-off home run. All right, Born Cool. Bully hours, Jake. I'm still thinking about that Parker Meadows catch. Absolutely. And you saw it on the thumbnail for today's video, just going up, robbing Cal Raleigh, and bringing a home run back. Amazing stuff all the way. That game was such a blast. Completely agree. And interesting point here from Jugatarian. We might not make the playoffs, but I'm still enjoying these games very much. I have faith in this lineup next year. Yeah, I do too. And it's a point where you can never count on one thing from one thing to the next year. We know that. I mean, Spencer Torkelson's a great example of that, and probably too soon to bring that up. A little sensitive there, but the pieces are coming together and they are in place. All right, a couple more comments here before we hit a break. Parker is bringing that Riley Green energy. He's providing a spark on both sides of the ball. Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes, especially in baseball, it can be difficult to quantify because we just get so enamored with the stats and OPS. And I'm guilty of it. I completely admit that as well. But sometimes you got to have those glue guys. You got to have those guys that fire up the dugout and those guys that provide more than just what the box score says. And maybe Parker Meadows is one of those guys. All right, comment here from Last Drafts Baseball. Time for a sweep tomorrow. Absolutely. We talked about that, and we'll get into it a little bit more as well. All right. And interesting comment here from Zinter, because I was kind of going back and forth on this when Gio Urshela was 0 for 3 to the beginning of the game. I was kind of getting frustrated because you look up what Matt Chapman's doing and he just seems to hit a home run every single day. And you think, I know I got to let that go. It's obviously not too good for my health that I continue to think about Matt Chapman not playing for the Tigers, but he could have been the third baseman for us. And Gio Urshela today, though, did get some late hits, which you love to see. He did get thrown out at home there in the ninth. The Tigers made the final out at home in the ninth, even though Gio Urshela had a couple of hits. They'd still scored the 3 runs. But yeah, Urshela was 2 for 5 with the 2 RBI. And to your point, some clutch hits there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I want to continue breaking down Tarik Skubal's start, and we'll look ahead to the upcoming game tomorrow and the weekend as a whole. Locked On Tigers postcast. Back in a moment. This episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. We know that's Prize Picks. That's right. Prize Picks has everything you need to add a little more sizzle to your viewing experience. And it's super easy as well. You're not playing against 50 other people, against a bunch of other sharks. No. It's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and watch the winnings roll on in. You can get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. And now you can win up to 100 times your money. Who doesn't love that? On Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And hey, get in on the excitement and win up to 100 times your cash with the summer games on Prize Picks. With Prize Picks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 while watching Team USA rack up the gold medals this summer. I know I've been enjoying the coverage. You can make Prize Picks lineup of players across basketball, soccer, tennis, golf, and so much more. You can do it in as little as 60 seconds. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 players stat projections. All right, so real simple. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. You pick more, you pick less. It's that easy. All right. I love it when the Tigers snag a dub on the West Coast. Late night, live Locked On Tigers postcast. We got a lot of people live in the comments, which always makes it enjoyable. All right. And with that being said, a couple other comments to get into here. Martin Boonstra, great 2 wins. Hoping our 2-man rotation gets help soon. How long can that continue? Yeah, certainly. That's why I don't want to get into the conversation about any kind of expectations for the last 2 months, other than taking each thing game by game and an individual basis, because you're just not going to. And I say you're not going to, but it's hard to stockpile any sort of momentum and victories when you have 2 starting pitchers. But interesting comments here in the section, which I appreciate. talking about Scott Bentley and with Locked On Tigers, who does a tremendous job, which is a reminder. Make sure you check out Locked On Tigers from day to day with Scott Bentley. We might have a differing opinion on this, but I think we're probably on the same page. I haven't admittedly, I haven't heard his specific take. I don't love Gio Urshela either. I would like to see Torque in the lineup. I think we know what we've got in Gio Urshela, and so I actually agree with swapping him out for Torque. I don't know if it's as simple as a plug and play with just the 1 and the 1 there, but I'm ready to see Torque back up at the big league level. I don't have his stats exactly in front of me to know what he's done lately, but he's been down in AAA. You got to see, you can't give up on your first overall pick that soon and just see what you've got. And I know the first half of the season was just a disaster for Spencer Torkelson, but let's see how he can ride it out, because I just don't think there's anything to gain with him in AAA the rest of the season. All right, good comment here from Gareth Ridings. With tomorrow being a bullpen game, who will start? I'm not exactly sure, but it does give me an opportunity to talk a little bit about Tyler Holton, who I meant to talk about earlier yesterday, because again, he was so good. But it's interesting, and I do have the Torkelson stats here in front of me. I knew I pulled them up somewhere. Torkelson's hitting 256, 382, 528 for an OPS of 910 in 33 games. So 9 home runs in that span. And with that said, I think again, my point remains that Torque needs to be up with this big league team. So here's the stat from Tigers PR that I meant to mention yesterday, but dating back to the start of the last season, Tyler Holton has been one of baseball's most reliable relievers among pitchers with at least 100 appearances over that span. Nobody has a lower whip, 0.85, or OBP, on base percentage, allowed at 0.233, while he ranks third in OPS allowed, fourth in walk rate, seventh in ERA, and eighth in batting average against. He's done this while also taking on a significant workload, ranking first among that group of 73 pitchers appearing in at least 100 games since the start of 2023, with 149 innings pitched and 569 batters faced. Woo! Deep breath on that, but that's how good Tyler Holton has been for this Tigers team out of the pen, and how long he's done it and how consistent he's been. So that being said, I think Holton's always a good choice if you're doing a bullpen day to open, but I should put more stock and thought into this, but I kind of drive myself crazy with it a little bit, because when, like, to the original point, and I don't remember exactly how I phrased it, but when you have consistent bullpen days over, and it's not from a strategic component, no matter what anybody wants to say, it's because there's no healthy arms. It's difficult to continue to put these chess pieces together from a bullpen day perspective. And I know Chris Fetter is getting the most out of the pitching staff he has since he arrived in Detroit. And I know there's a science and an art to it, but at the same time, it's like, you just can't keep doing this, putting the lipstick on the pig and trying to avoid not even avoid, but disguise or camouflage the problem that is of not having any starting pitching. But that being said, I really, really appreciate the comments tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and my goodness, the show has flown by as it always does. But hey, we got some exciting news here on Locked On. Got the newsletter sent to me this week. Always awesome stuff going on at Locked On, and one of them being Locked On's first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Let's keep breaking this one down, tie a bow on it. Thanks for everyone that's staying up late with us tonight. Tigers beat the Mariners. Parker Meadows, catch of the year. Tarik Skubal gets his 13th win, 7 innings pitched, allowed just 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and 9 strikeouts. He's amazing. Amazing. Love it, especially in front of all the fans that he had there, being a graduate of Seattle. So, all right, we'll take one final break and be back in just a moment. Coming up next, we dive into the rest of the road trip on Locked On Tigers Postcast. This episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Liquid IV and liquidiv.com. Go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB. Listen up. It's summer, and part of summer, you got to admit, you got to stay hydrated, right? You know, it's not the most sexy and exciting thing to talk about, but it's important. And when you're talking summer and you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV. The popsicle firecracker flavor is a surefire summer hit. You can get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. And I'm telling you, this is going to make your mouth water. Blast off with the iconic summer flavor of Popsicle Firecracker, which is a festive blend of citrus-fueled lemon lime, tart cherry, and raspberry flavors. It makes hydrating fun. So whether it be on a hot summer day, whether it be working out, and maybe, you know, you had a few too many adult pops the night before and you gotta hydrate. Liquid IV is perfect for all of that. Listen, I tell you what, I played basketball the other day, pickup basketball, used to be good. Now I'm terrible, and now I'm old, and I needed Liquid IV after that to hydrate. My goodness, I'm still sore from it, by the way. But you get the point. The Liquid IV is a fast, effective way to hydrate. Super easy to use. All you need is that 16-ounce water bottle, and that all you do is tear, pour, and one little stick of Liquid IV, and you're rolling. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use MLB at checkout. Use that code MLB at checkout. 20% off your first order when you shop better hydration today using code MLB at liquidiv.com. All right, we tie a bow on it. Obviously, the finale of the series tomorrow, a chance for the Tigers to get a sweep, which would be awesome. I don't have the complete schedule in front of me, but it feels like it has been way too long since this team had a sweep. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that to anybody. That's not good listening for anybody. That I'm going back the Cincinnati Reds game. There you go, or series. So early July, weekend sweep on the road. So early July, but hey, let's shoot forward to August and start the West Coast road trip with a series win. 4-2 yesterday over the Mariners, 6-2 today, and then again tomorrow night, 9:40 on the Eastern time zone side of things. But like I said, we've got a little double header action as long as things work out timing wise. Obviously, I can't control that, but we'll do our best to get a Locked On Lions postcast, first ever in the preseason game, and a Locked On Tigers postcast. And if you subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit, you won't miss a thing. All right. So then following tomorrow's game, you go to San Francisco, Oracle Park, one of my all-time favorite ballparks. If anybody's ever been there, it is absolutely gorgeous. The pictures don't even do it justice. Although I will say the night I went, it was freezing and it was in the middle of July. But that said, the bay right there, chef's kiss. Absolutely gorgeous ballpark there. I know my grandparents are in Seattle for tonight's game and then going to the Giants series as well in Seattle. So as always, I love hearing about everybody's baseball travels. Keep me posted on that. But as we wrap up tonight, a couple more comments to get to. Martin Boonstra seeing some growth. This feels like a game in June that would have lost 2-1 going up against Kirby. Yeah, and they jumped on Kirby early. credit to Wenceel Perez with that. He just continues to make the most of his opportunity. And I know I've talked about that at length, but hey, it's about seizing the moment and seizing the opportunity. And Wenceel Perez has done exactly that. All right. One more thing to get to before we send everybody hopefully to bed, unless people are working nights. I got to go in early to the radio station tomorrow, so that's a quick turnaround. But hey, that's why we love the grind, as the kids say. But always happy to be on the air talking Locked On Tigers postcast, especially after a big win over the Seattle Mariners 6-2. And the last thing I want to say is Skubal's odds to win the Cy Young, because, and you know where you can go to get your odds, but I made a bet for Skubal to win the AL Cy Young early this season, even before the season started. And I gotta say, I am feeling pretty good about that. And Skubal continues to be the favorite. He's minus 260 on FanDuel right now, minus 250 on BetMGM, depending on where you do your shopping, minus 225 on DraftKings. But you get the idea. He is running away with it compared to Corbin Burnes, which is one more, just a little nod that he should have started. He, being Tarik Skubal, should have started the All-Star game, not Corbin Burnes, but is what it is. So hey, let's tie a bow on it for the night, and let's get ready for tomorrow. A fun day ahead tomorrow. Tigers have the opportunity to go for the sweep, and man, that would be exciting and really neat to see, especially when you think of what this team has gone through with some of the injuries, the trade deadline, and it's all part of a normal season. You have the ebbs and flows, you have the ups and downs, but that's what makes the moments like tonight even that much more enjoyable. And Parker Meadows, he's on the thumbnail catch of the year, robbing Cal Raleigh of a home run and saving the game, because that would have given the Mariners a 4-3 lead over the Tigers. Instead, with the catch, it ends the 8th inning, 3-2. Tigers still on top. They score 3 in the 9th and win it 6-2. I'm sorry. 13 hits for the Tigers. And just Jason Benetti said it, one of his favorite wins of the season and best wins of the season. They're not all created equal. They all count for one W in that win column, but this could be one where we look back and say, man, this was starting to it's kind of a cliche, but when you think about those, and I'm getting way ahead of myself, please don't take this as me saying, yeah, the Tigers are going to go win a championship. But when you have the champion, it's not actually a championship DVD anymore because nobody has DVDs, but the highlight reel video of whenever the Tigers break through, you might look back at Parker Meadows' catch tonight and say that was a moment in which you felt it. You felt this team come together. It was a galvanizing feeling at the ballpark, at least watching it at home here. It felt like, the rah-rah was there, the chemistry, the camaraderie, all the things magnified by that catch with Parker Meadows and combined with Tarik Skubal's efforts, and another win for the Tigers. So let's hope they can continue that momentum tomorrow. What a start to this road trip. 6-2 winners over the Seattle Mariners. Tigers 55-60, 29-29 on the road. As always, thank you for tuning in to Locked On Sports Detroit and the Locked On Tigers postcast. It's always a pleasure to be on the air with you. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley, Locked On Lions with Matt Derry. And man, it's getting to an exciting time of the year where we've got both Tigers and Lions football going on. All good things on Locked On Sports Detroit. So I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, first for Locked On Lions postcast, and then for Locked On Tigers postcast, all on Locked On Sports Detroit, free and available wherever you get your podcast, and of course on YouTube as well. So have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time on Locked On Tigers postcast, Locked On Sports Detroit. Good night.